All right, is this thing recording? So I did apply for the disability check, and they turned me down twice. The first time, all right, I went to see the doctor, and he said you're fine. Well, he didn't tell me anything. He says he's like a in between the government and myself, and I got a letter that says I'm fine. So then I got Baker acted twice. So that one lawyer said that it would help me, but then I got angry at the spouse, and I knew she would get upset if I did this. I canceled the first lawyer, and he said, "What? You're canceling me? But either you are not disabled, or you are." And so I told him that I'm not really bipolar, and that he said, "No, my mother is bipolar. That's why I'm so, into this type of work." And so I knew, but I only canceled him because I knew the spouse would get upset, and I think that's part of the reason I got Baker acted the second time. She just said, "Oh yeah, if you don't go through with this, then I'm throwing you back in there," which is it is a serious threat, because all they have to do is call the cops and I'm gone. So I do have plans, but I have to be out of the country in order to be able to do those plans, like live a life, without being a hostage. I'm making a joke about it, but it is serious business when your family threatens to put you away. I worked with a man that was 60 some years old, and he said that his family put him in a mental institution for 1 year because he wouldn't give them money. um, so he never liked getting married. He said he had like 4 offers, or maybe it was three, in his lifetime, and he just said, "No, I'm not going to do it." Um, and he wasn't the guy that wanted money, because he said one of the girls had a house already, but he said, "Nah, I'm not going for that." All right, so what to do if you're being held hostage? Well, make videos. At least I can talk about what's happening, right? All right, so the spouse asked me why I don't do anything. Well, number one reason, 12 years out of 13 years together, she's given me horrible sex. I had to beg her to give it to me, and she only gave it to me 3 times a month, and she wouldn't move at all. And she even had her arms crossed. Now, I would have loved to have a video or a picture of that, but it's illegal to videotape, and I didn't have the equipment. I mean, she would see the camera or smash my computer or something. So, oh, you say that it's not ethical? Well, abuse is not ethical either. All right. All right. So the second thing that she did was, when it was time to name my son, like, we didn't talk for 8 months. So she's 8 months pregnant, and I said, "Let's sit down. Let's talk about what we're gonna call my son." And she said, "No," and she walked off. I felt like throwing my shoe at her because I was so hurt. However, that's abuse if you hit somebody. So, like, I didn't take it off. I read about somebody in the paper that did that, though. He walked out on my mother, was what the article said. He threw one shoe at her, and then he walked off. Never saw her again, or dealt with her. 3, the $100,000 when she sold her condo. She said no to my ideas to move back to Honduras, to move to a central part of Florida with like a farm. Anything I wanted, like a pickup truck, she said no. At the same time, she spent $5,000 on paying off a $1,000 credit card that had gone up to like $2,000, $4,000, or something like that. And I told her, "You're supposed to negotiate. You don't pay like, oh." And she's a spender. She doesn't think about anything about that. All right, 4. When my son was 4 years old, she pulled my son by the ear. That's why I stay home. I don't work, because when I saw that, I said, I'm not gonna. So to protect my son, I don't like working. All right, let's be honest. But at the same time, I don't want my son to get his ears pulled. You know. So that's why I'm paying the price of staying here. Now, when he was 5 years old, she pulled him by the hair. So now I try to get him to get haircuts. Like I already told him, you need to cut your hair. What happens if you let your hair grow longer? Now he forgets. He doesn't, you know. I'm like, hey, help me cut my hair. I'll cut your hair, you know. 6. She refused to sit and read with me so that she would learn English. So I said, come on, let's read this a book about Snow White. And she would say no, and she would walk by. So I said, okay, you're not going to learn English that way. And I remembered my ballet co-worker. He said, I speak more English than my wife, and she has done 6 levels at Miami-Dade Community College and doesn't speak any English. I learned it here at work. You know? And so I said, I'm going to put you to work. And so where she worked, she's on vacation now for 4 months. She's looking for work. But at the school where she works, she's a lunch lady. And she got out of substitute teaching because she never knew what day where she had to go to work. I mean, you know, but it's not a daily schedule. You're on call is what I'm saying. And so she works in the cafeteria, and she's the only Spanish one there, the only one that speaks Spanish, and everybody else is white or black or something else. All right. 6. She refused to sit down and read with me so that she would learn English. So she learned it at work. 7. She refused to talk to me. I said, let's talk about our relationship. No. So we ended up going to marriage counseling, but then we couldn't get babysitters. Our best friends would say, well, he was against talking to strangers, and he was against babysitting like from 7 to 8 p.m. because that's the time he wants to be at home with his family and things like that. So we couldn't get babysitters, and that didn't work out too well because all of them took her side because they only see her side. They only see he doesn't work. All right, excuse me, $100,000. You can do something with $100,000 in Honduras. I told her I have brothers that don't have shoes. You know, they're super skinny. I can show you the pictures. I put the pictures on the wall. She took them down. She says, I don't want to see those pictures. Yes, you don't like seeing poverty or people without money or skinny people. But, I mean, she has also suffered because all she does is feed me because her mother would not eat. Her mother was 68 pounds. That's a skeleton, all right? On purpose, she would not eat. Her mother was not sane. All right, so she refused to talk to me. And then when the counselors started coming to the house, the reason I loved it was because she would finally speak English. I said, all right, let's have this. It was really an English class for me. That's what I was saying. An English class for her. But they were all coming because of me. They thought I was the cuckoo one, you know. So who knows? I say we both are. There are relationships, and it's in one of those YouTube videos. There are relationships where a psychiatrist, the one that gives pills, they say that the relationship is toxic, or that the relationship is harmful, or that these two people are normal when they're away from each other. But when they're together, they do things that a sane person would say. Like, we had a Mormon missionary, 19, 20 years old. I mean, 2 of them came by, right? But one of them said, there's too much contention in this house. We better leave. And so they just left because they don't deal with that. Another one told us, we're not marriage counselors. All right. Uh, then another one, he said, the one thing I can say is men, I'm Spanish, you're Spanish. Men work, Daniel. All right. So, what else? She refused to talk to me. 7. 8. She would yell at me. She would really yell at me. Oh, gosh. For my daughter's birthday, what did we do? She had a birthday party. She had cake. She does everything, right? But luckily, this time she only invited, I think, the same couple that used to, the same best friends from 7 years ago. They brought their son, and then at the end, I finally went over there, and the lady said, "We're leaving now." And I said, "Yes, I was sleeping," but I didn't tell her. But I did tell her husband that I'm sorry I didn't show up earlier to the birthday party. But the spouse gave me such a yelling that day that all I did was come back in here and lie down, and then I took a nap. All right. 9. She refused to go with me and the kids to the park. She would go sometimes, but it was so annoying. She says, "Can we go home now?" I mean, it's only been half an hour. The kids haven't even finished running. And even now, I don't take the daughter because the daughter doesn't want to go unless her friend calls her up. And the boy, she says, "Don't run. And why don't you take your bicycle?" And then finally I told her, "Look, he is an athlete. He has so much energy that I ride the bicycle with the dog pulling me. We cross the street to the park. We go around the park, and he is running alongside the dog sometimes. Well, the dog is pulling me, so when the dog is pulling me, the dog doesn't run so fast. And so he's able to run at the same speed for 20 seconds or something. And then we take a break. And my son is an athlete. He is in excellent running condition. So one time we rented a room to a man that his girlfriend was sleeping here all day. And 8 o'clock in the morning, he was outside. He was bored on a Sunday morning, right? I think he worked Saturdays. Yeah, she was complaining that he worked Saturdays. And he says, "I cannot be in bed. If I stay in bed, it hurts my back." He's a gardener. He works in gardening. He told me how he grabs snakes and things. They split up. They cannot live together. They can be boyfriend and girlfriend, but they cannot live together. That's what I'm getting at. All right. So she refused to talk to me. 7. 8. She would yell at me. 9. She refused to go with my kids to the park. Many accidents could have been prevented. Like I was rolling on the floor, and then the kid would go on top of me or fall backwards or something. An extra adult would have helped. The best advice is take a soccer ball or 2 of them and have the child play in a safe, away from the cars and away from other children, and have the child play over there soccer, because baseball is tricky. Basketball, the ball bounces, hits him in the nose, all of that. It's better to play soccer gently. She refused to go with me to the park. 10. She refused to listen to me about the pickup truck. Okay then, now go ahead and put all that metal into your minivan. Passive aggressive people, they don't fight you. Like, you yell at me, I don't yell back. And I said, okay, now you go cut the grass and think about how you were treating me earlier. Go ahead. Now, I will go cut the grass. And she says, oh, okay, I'm going to Baker Act you. Oh, okay, now I'll go cut the grass. Because I don't want to be Baker Acted again. 10. She refused to listen to me about the pickup truck. I wanted to put the tricycle in the back. I wanted to put the groceries there real easy. I wanted to put the wood because I wanted to learn to be carpentry even back then. And I already had met men that had pickup trucks. They are useful men. They know how to shop for wood. I mean, I went to Home Depot the first time. I had a heart attack. I mean, this place is a place for men, and I am a man, but I felt out of place there. I mean, I was like, I don't know where to go. I don't know what to do. Now, Home Depot is, I can find my way around. I know how to do things there, ask for help and get the stuff I need. Alright. So she refused to listen to me about the pickup truck. Okay, then now she has to put all the metal that we recycled, because I don't have a job. She doesn't have a job. So go put all the metal inside the minivan. She put the bed sheet. I brought my bed sheet. I put it over there. I'm not going to use it again, I think. Oh, let's see. She can't reverse. I don't know how they pass people that can't reverse. I mean, she can put it in reverse and go back 2 seconds, but to actually put the car in a parking spot, she can't. So she can't reverse. So she had to let the man with the dirty pants at the recycling center back up the minivan for her, and then he got her seat dirty. And I'm not going to drive her minivan. I was sitting right next to the man in the passenger seat, because it's not a pickup truck. It's not my minivan. She went to buy it by herself. She says, how come it's overheating? Because the car is overheating now. And I told her, well, you got to check that out. I mean, I'm so, in one way, I'm so useless to her as a husband. However, when I tell her, let's do this, like let's take the carpentry or the mechanics course so that we learn basics about the mechanics, she says, no. I told her, I do know how to change the air filter. Let me show you how to do that. She says, no, I will pay the mechanic to do it. I told her, it's just one screw and this, and clamps. And she said, no, I don't want to learn. So I said, all right, get off your high horse. There is another aunt of mine that doesn't like coming to the United States. She lived here for a while, but she went back to Honduras, and she doesn't want to come back here because she hates putting gas in her own car, whereas in Honduras, someone pumps the gas for her. So that's, some people are very high up. What do you call them? Very proud or something. All right, 11. Why, what am I doing here? What's the name of this email? Why don't I do anything? All right, 11. She lied the second time and got me Baker acted because she was afraid of DCF and homeschooling. After I got out of there, I said, what do I have to do to start homeschooling? In the name of Jesus, please help me. Let me start homeschooling. I don't want my kids to get shot at school, And then I have a better education, provided I can get these lawnmower repair and electronics course so you can make robots and things. And we do have the money for that, but we're not doing it because they're spending it on restaurants and paying the light bill and things like that, which is fine. But they're not, I mean, they're buying soda cans, all right? You don't need soda. I need athletic children. I need healthy children. I don't want U.S. citizens that are super fat and jumbo. I mean, come on. Can't tie their own shoes because they're breathing too heavy and they're only, 15 or something years old. So she got me Baker acted because I was homeschooling with her permission. Then my mother started telling her, you're letting a crazy man homeschool your children. You're gonna go to jail for letting a crazy man homeschool your children. My mother's talking about her son, myself. And then my mother said, DCF is gonna come right now and take away your children. And then of course the spouse just got so scared. Then my mother said, let's go to the courthouse and fill out the ex parte paper. My mother knows about these things. She used to be a secretary and she used to deal with children that were in jail and things like that. Foster children. Once upon a time, my mother wanted to adopt a girl, but then she found out that these kids, she calls them future criminals. Oh well. Many of them are. They're just very wise because they're among some people that are cruel. So they know how to be cruel. 12. Oh, here's one. The spouse, well, she used to be against guns when I used to be a security guard, right? But she loved having one when we rented a room, this room in fact, to my coworker who turned out to have schizophrenia. He was an ex-soldier from Iraq, just got back, and he was working. All right. Now, the day that he moved, I told her to keep quiet. Don't say anything. Just say thank you. But she started complaining and yelling at him while he moved out. Basically, his TV didn't fit into the car, so like he said, I'll be back. And he says, no, take it now. She was just went off, and I said, please be quiet. And she just got louder. And so she walked up to him, and I was expecting him to punch her, but I wrote it down. But you almost got punched, but he didn't do it. Then you say, I am a girl, Daniel is a girl, because Daniel didn't fight him, or didn't fight for you. Well, let me tell you something, spouse, and I wrote this out, A, B, C. A, he would have won the fight against me because he was an ex-soldier, in excellent shape, by the way. All right, maybe he wouldn't have won, but it would have turned out that I had to bite him in order to win. That's one. And number two, I practice Tai Chi Chuan. The more calm you are, the more calm the other person becomes. And then the only one making a big scene is the spouse, the woman. Okay, so B, you spouse started the fight in the argument. And C, if I would have punched him, then I would have gone to jail, and he would still have been in the house with you. Have you seen the movie, the guy that played Beetlejuice and Batman? That guy, in that movie, he made another movie where he rents a house and he grows cockroaches somehow, and he gets the husband thrown in jail. And he was the one that punched the husband. I mean, I think, I don't know, it was all the reverse. But the police took the husband away. So then the husband, he got out of jail, but he had to go stay at a friend's house. And the woman, she had to stay with this crazy man that was renting the first floor or the second floor from her. All right, so then your first minivan had the window broken, and nobody knows who did it, but we can all guess, right? So, oh, and you know, spouse, I was going to let him punch you, because this way you would learn to respect a man. Did you hear what that girl that got an uppercut from that bus driver said? It hurted. And in the future, she said, it hurted. And I'm paraphrasing a little bit. She said, and in the future, I will remove myself from that type of situation. You better believe she did learn her lesson. I mean, most men, you start yelling at them, well, the ones that live in the United States are not going to smack you. But you start yelling at a man that lives in another country, I believe they'll smack you. Now, the men in the United States don't smack you because of the Baker Act or because of the going to jail thing. Because the police takes the woman's side. All right? I know that the Universal Declaration of Human Rights says that all men and women are created equal or something like that. And that discrimination is wrong, like taking the woman's side instead of the man's side all the time or most of the time. Unless she really does something, you know. Like leave you with blood. Alright, so 13. It's strange how I'm the one Baker acted, and I was not angry at any moment that I did anything. When I hit the car with the bat, nobody was home, and I did it slowly. 1, 2, and I said, well, and I put another one there, and another one there. It was my car, so it was not illegal for me to do it. And when I kicked the door, it was just 3 kicks. And I said, the first 2 didn't do anything. The third one finally made a little hole. And I said, okay. And then my son, he began to use a tool, and he took away the rest of the door, which was made out of cardboard. And then when the police saw the pictures, it was after my kick, and it was after my son had done the rest of it. But the police wasn't listening, so I didn't tell them anything. All right. So 13. I'm the one Baker acted, and it's so strange that I am the one with the cool head on his shoulders. I'm the one that stopped you from walking over to the roommate, the ex-soldier. I stopped you from walking over to his house, his mother's house, with a gun in your hand. You were going to fly out the door, and I was like, that's my gun, and you're taking it in the street and walking around with it like that, ready to shoot this guy because he broke your minivan window, and then you don't have proof that he did it. It doesn't matter, who else. And then he was nonviolent when he lived with us. He would read the Bible to me, and his only problem was that he thought that 3 different women with the same name were the same person. His co-worker, his Facebook friend, and then the one that he met at the flea market. Now, those were just coincidences to me. I never met 2 of them. I only met the one on the Facebook. Excuse me. And, well, let me make another video. Part 2. Enjoy your life.